All right. Welcome back. Another episode of Whiskey and Real Estate and Whiskey. I am only a co-host. This is your actual host right here, Mr. Lucas Burrington. How you doing, sir?
Good. Burrington Real Estate in the house. So I'm Lucas, and we have a guest today who does all my marketing when it comes to the real estate branding and AMMT branding and even the diplomat stuff. So he helps out with that, and it's kind of like we were talking before. Tone this is the bridge in the community. You know how the networking really helps, and I decided to put you guys back on Reserve 9, the Slipknot whiskey. That is the Reserve 9 that is sold at Cedar Ridge, and I think it's made at Cedar Ridge too.
Slipknot as in the band from Iowa?
Yeah.
The hard rock?
Yep.
Nice.
Read the back. There you
Wow,
go.
a little bit of Slipknot history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So welcome, Jake.
Wow, hello. Yeah, as I read about
go
Slipknot,
ahead.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like hard. I'm what are they, maggots? If you're a fan of Slipknot, no, that's what they're called.
Yes,
You're the
that is-
maggots.
that is their
Okay.
followers.
I'm
yeah.
a maggot.
Hey, if you don't mind, go ahead and read the back of that bottle.
Alrighty, Slipknot and Cedar Ridge Distillery, two groups of people born and raised in Iowa and committed to quality and hard work. We collaborated on number 9 whiskey, which in addition to Iowa corn, gets some extra spice from its rye content. I hope you enjoy it as much as we do. Live life and always be safe. Cheers, clown.
Hey,
That guy talks like he's been on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like it.
Yeah. Oh, we got to talk about all of that.
Yes.
Jake, it's actually surprising. You're a little darker than me right now because
Oh,
your hat.
my hat.
Yeah, the lighting.
I did not realize I was going to be on
I
camera
call
today.
bullshit on that one.
I was no. That gets me into a really great first topic.
Before we get too far,
yes.
cheers
Oh,
to the
cheers.
number 9 whiskey.
Yes.
Yes.
We're gonna have fun. It
Cedar
sounds
Ridge.
like we already had some.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that actually helps get me. So Lucas had mentioned last week, real quick. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna be filming with Tone. I'd love to get you in real quick." I didn't realize that meant like
Lucas.
that's what exactly was happening. It
Yeah.
sounded like, but that's a big thing, especially when you work in marketing. A lot of your clients are gonna be so busy, running a million miles a minute. I work with Tone. I work with Lucas. I do both of them, and they are both incredibly busy people. They're it's figuring out, you're kind of working, it's a moving target, and that's what a lot of your clients are going to be. So it's making sure you're getting exactly what they want, but also understanding that they might not have the time to give you your vision. So you got to be able to Frankenstein and work on the spot with it, because there'll be things where you're like, you have this perfect vision, you're like, this is going to work, but then they've got a week. He's working in real estate nonstop. Tone's putting together 9 billion different awesome events, so they might not be free. You have to put it together, have to figure it out, and it's kind of working on the fly and being willing to improvise and still put out a product that is unique. And that's one of the biggest things is, especially in real estate, you've got the cookie cutter, beautiful stuff. I know Amanda works with Burrington Real Estate. She creates these beautiful graphics that you're going to see in every single real estate market, because that needs to exist. There needs to be the closed, the spotlight on a real estate agent. Oh, this house is open, doing all of that stuff. But Facebook and other platforms now recognize that you're trying to sell something. You're trying to market it. So they're going to specifically nuke that, not give it any sort of traction unless you pay for it. Or you can create unique content. You can force Lucas into a house and film him. You can make Tone say goofy jokes and film him. Creating reels, creating unique pictures that aren't highly edited. The algorithm can actually read those, see that it's unique, and will be more likely to push it out. And that helps rise your other content without having to put a big budget behind it. That's a little tangent there for you.
This is why he makes the big bucks.
And this is why I don't do the marketing. Because that was all Spanish, and I do with him twice a week. So
There's times we've set that off as me and Jake will just get into nerd talk. And we're just like, I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. I'm keep doing what I'm good at.
Well, and there's many times, I mean, shoot, I think for like the last 2 months, Jake would just stop in my office every Tuesday, Thursday, and it's the same time, and I'm still surprised every time he shows up. I'm like, what? I had you today? And it's been the same thing for a year and a half, the same time, Tuesday, Thursday, and I still don't have time for him, so I feel bad for him, because a lot of times I just put him in a corner of my office, and I'm like, I think the office might need some IT help today, because I don't have time to go out and do some marketing.
Well, there's always IT work that needs to be done, and
Yep.
there's always marketing that needs to be
Right.
done. So People like Jake are like, you know,
Yes,
we very essential
Yes.
to business, not just our businesses, but business. Period.
One of the big things is, especially if you're working with multiple businesses, right? There's two routes you can go. You can either find a massive corporation that needs a marketing person that you're getting paid salary doing that, but you're kind of stuck in that box, or you can do your own business. And I've seen a few others start to pop up, and it's the biggest thing is. A lot of these local businesses like AMMT, Burrington Real Estate is one of the bigger fish in the pond, but they're not always going to have time for me, like Lucas said, and stuff. So making yourself useful because there's someone else out there that is chasing after you and it wants to do the exact same thing you can do. So making yourself useful, understanding on page, off page, and technical search engine optimization while understanding basic marketing with the meta tags, the type of videos you create, but then also being able to problem solve. I do the IT for them. I'm not an IT guy. Didn't go to college. Don't know it off the top of my head, but I do know how to problem solve. Their printer's not working. You're literally looking up videos, implementing what you see in those into what's actually happening, figuring out what the problem is. You solve it, and then all of a sudden, everyone in the workplace are like, "Oh, Jake, we can rely on him. He can get
He's a
stuff done."
genius.
He's the IT guy. I'm like, I watched
the YouTube video.
I watched a YouTube video, understood it enough, implemented the 3 things that are different to what our unique scenario is, and just solved it. That's going to be your biggest bet.
And that's the thing with IT. I feel like, and I did go to school for it. I do have a degree. I do a lot of web design stuff. But the biggest thing is patience.
Yep.
Having the patience. People, I'm not going to do that. You don't have the patience to do it. You can do it.
Yeah.
There's nothing I'm doing that no one else can do. I'm sure, Jake, you absolutely could probably build the most beautiful website. You probably have built beautiful websites.
It takes
Do you
time.
feel like doing that?
No.
Do you have the time to do that?
Time.
And your time takes away from other money opportunities.
And you have to fail a bunch of times. The amount of times. Oh, and it'll be crazy. It'll be you typed an E instead of an F, and that messed up your entire thing, especially if you're trying to code with it as well. So it is patience, trial and error, and just being willing to, again, make yourself useful, making sure the exact same things AMMT and Burrington Real Estate need are going to be completely different than what a restaurant like O's Grill needs, right? So you're always adapting to that client. And my biggest thing is just being willing to adapt and don't paint yourself into a corner. Be willing to work with multiple individuals, be able to read an individual. Lucas, very laid back, very chill guy, willing to work, very understanding. Yep. Other clients are not going to be like that. Other clients are going to be giving you a call every other day. Yep. They're going to be bouncing ideas off you. And when you tell them, oh, this won't work because XYZ, they might not understand. They might, and their lack of understanding might be them being like, well, you're not doing what you need to do. And you need to understand some clients are going to be a pain in the butt, and you either need to deal with them or you need to let someone else deal with them. Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of what all 3 of us do is we get to pick the people we work with. Like, of course, we give a lot of people chances, like that first chance of introduction, but there's a reason you're comfortable coming down because you come from Davenport every week, right?
Yep.
You come down twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, to be in Lucas's office. If he's one of those, let's just call it a pain in the ass client, you're not going to spend that much time. Hey, what do you need? Text it to me, and I'll just get it done remotely. Like,
yes.
So it's nice that we have these relationships, and I actually just made a post today about that. Like, just treat people like people. You know, like, you're not entitled to my time, even if you pay me. You're not entitled. Like, I have a life outside of what I do. So just respect that. And I understand, like, we're able to do a lot of things that people don't have the patience for, but still respect that we have lives, families, other clients, and other things to do. Me and Lucas have talked a lot about that, especially season 1. Because you were getting calls all throughout the night.
Man.
Probably still are.
Oh, it's insane. Well, and you hit it right on the head, and you hit it right on the head, Jake, is when you're that business owner and A, the fail a lot. You're going to fail a lot. But B, just because you pay me doesn't mean that you own me. And I mean, that's really hard in our line of business, especially, I mean, Jake, you're what, year 2 into this now?
It's been over 2 years now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And Tone, you've been in the game for a minute. I've been in the game for a minute. I mean, you're talking 10 plus years for both of us. And the real estate's always changing. And Jake has other realtor clients that he works with where he does do some marketing. So he gets to know the different types of volumes that everyone does, because he deals with one of the number 1 realtors down in Davenport, and when you're comparing to one of the number 1 realtors in Cedar Rapids, you got apples to apples, but it's not apples to apples.
No, different markets.
and distinguishing how important marketing is I don't have time for it. Let's be real. I don't have time for it, but I make time for this. This podcast, I do it pure out of love. I mean, because you and I don't have time to sit down and do this.
Hell
I
no,
mean, we're late every day. I mean, we say we're meeting at 1:45 and we're just getting kicked off at 2:30. You know,
I brought my food here. Like, man, I hope I got 5 minutes to eat because I've been so busy. I realized, shit, I haven't ate today. Oh, I got the podcast. Let me see if I. So I was happy you're late. I was hoping you'd be late.
But we own this and we owe it to our clients to do the marketing. You know,
Yep.
That's what makes us relevant. And in the world we're in right now, tone's in a cancel culture. So I mean, the rap artists and the musicians, there's people trying to come into the field every day. Realtors. There's 460 some odd realtors in Cedar Rapids.
Yep.
I mean, it's cutthroat. When you get into the SEO business and promoting and marketing, Jake, there's guys that think just because they watched a YouTube video, they know how to do your job. So, I mean,
here's the keys.
Yeah,
try it.
Just watch YouTube. You're fine.
And that brings us back to the importance of who you use, and especially in today's world, is use the guys that know what they're doing. And we've talked about this in season 1 and season 2. You know, I don't care if it ain't me, but find out and interview the person you are going to be using to make sure that they're marketing you and doing the right things and bringing in the Jakes of the world. And, you know, when it gets into hosting events and whatnot, bringing in the Tones of the world for DJing and stuff like that. I mean, Diplomats are planning like 3 events right now, and Tone don't even know it, but he's going to be DJing at these events.
And I'm ready.
And that's our network. So let's get into that a little bit. Is how important networking is for investors. Investors, you need to know other investors because you're buying properties from each other. Or when a deal is coming up and a guy needs to drop something, you want to be the first one they call.
Exactly.
Realtor to realtor, business owner to business owner. Tone doesn't know Jake less Tone knows me. Exactly. I don't know Tone less one of my realtors. Chuck doesn't know him. So last episode was probably one of my favorite episodes we did. We talked about leadership. We talked about marketing. We talked about just connecting, treating people right. And, you know, so.
Those ripples in the lake.
Yeah. Throwing that rock in the lake and watching the ripples effect. Yeah, I agree. So how did you guys meet then?
So connections is a huge thing, especially in Cedar Rapids. It's and I mean every single city has it, right? Because I do stuff in Davenport, I do stuff here, but Cedar Rapids definitely special. The way Tone and I met was I can't even remember, but we knew each other for a while. We knew of each other.
The official meeting did happen at the AMMT building.
Through Lucas. Right. But I've done a lot of stuff here in the sound box. We also kind of knew each other through Young Creatives. And we ran in a lot of the same circles. And that's a big thing with connections is, again, in Cedar Rapids, you're going to run in the same circles as a lot of people, but then it's what brings you together. For instance, like what Lucas was talking about with the investors. There was a lot of investors that probably run in the same circles, heard each other's names, never seen each other. Lucas puts together an investor meeting. He did a couple of those last year, like a good number of them, like 5 or 10 of them. And it was getting people to meet each other who have never actually gotten that cordial meeting, right? And it was the same with you and me. We had never had that actual meeting. I knew your name, you might have known my name, but we didn't actually know who is this guy. Is this someone I can actually talk to, or is it someone who it's just like we say hi, I can tolerate them, but we're never going to work together? Because there's plenty of people like that. Where
some people just aren't compatible. There's people that just don't connect, and I am in a lot of situations where I think I understand people enough that even when they're what most people take as rude or disrespectful, I get, no, this guy's straight to the point and, you know, might be dealing with some other stuff and doesn't know how to convey that.
Yep.
So, you know, luckily, and I think, this is why you come to the office every week. This is why whenever I hit you up, even if we don't talk for a while, once we connect, we get the ball rolling right away. It's just about, again, how you treat people and how you work together. Yes, I could pay you to do something. I'd rather we build a relationship and I can get you paid by somebody that will honestly be able to pay you a lot more for a longer time than me. And that's when the networking comes in. Like, I know I'm more valuable with the people I can connect you with sponsors and with just business, with pockets way deeper than mine, than me giving you a certain hourly wage that's like, well, now I have no money, so now we can't work together. But now I don't invite you to this Wix meeting because we haven't talked forever. And instead it's like, all right, here I'm sitting down with the guy from I'm On, you should meet him and kind of just give your spiel. And and someone like you they'll have work for you.
Yes, and there's definitely that fine line of referrals, especially if you're getting into. I welcome competition, so like if this is something you're interested in, it is beautiful. And referrals, it is hard to get your foot in the door though. I was blessed where it was literally my chiropractor, Chris Bowers Chiropractic. He was like, "Do you do social media?" And I was like, "Funny enough, I'm actually taking a bunch of classes, getting my certification in search engine optimization." And he's like, "Well, I've got like 3 people for you to meet." He introduces me to Lucas. The first time I ever met Lucas, Lucas is getting his back cracked.
Yeah, no, I wasn't getting cracked. So what I was face down, shirt off.
Yeah.
I mean,
Where's the story going?
Yeah. So networking, Chris Bowers was an investor of mine for years.
Yeah.
So I knew him through the real estate world, who I met him networking through another investor.
Wow.
So he became my chiropractor, Chris Bowers Chiropractic. I'm giving a shout out.
Yeah,
Probably one
he's
of the best.
great.
He probably one of the best chiropractors I know. And so he's like, "Man, I'm doing this marketing stuff and social media and whatnot. You should probably look at him." Like, I'll hear him out. And so he tried to set a meeting with me and Jake, and I gave him no time. Like, I had no time to meet and talk about this because I knew it was just costing me money.
Yep.
and so here I am. He tricks me here. I'm face down, and my back is, I like throw my back out, and I can't remember. I don't know if I was lifting or playing basketball or what I was doing, but I got suction cups in the middle of my back, and they're like sucking the blood out of me, turning my back black and blue. And Jake comes walking in. Here I am, half naked, and he goes, "Okay, let me talk to you about marketing."
Yeah,
And so I'm face down, and I'm like, I have no choice but to hear this out because I'm tied to this machine. And so that's how I met Jake.
Oh wow.
We ended up setting up a meeting, and then I met with you at your Center Point location, I believe is the next thing. But yeah, no, it was. That's how Chris did it. Is like he would just give me a call or FaceTime me or be like, "Hey, come in here. I have the appointment," and they hooked me up with my first like 5 clients. And ever since then, I've done. Funny enough, as a marketing guy, I've done very little marketing of myself, mostly because the referrals have just been so beautiful. And again, it's that fine line where you want to work with individuals who can get you those referrals, but you got to be careful, especially with if you start out super small and you mostly, because when you start out you need to do those lower prices. You got to be careful though, is if that lower price referral is your only source of referrals, you're going to just keep getting smaller smaller fish. You want to have that willingness to market yourself. I'm lucky where I instantly met bigger fish like Lucas, like that helps me out. But you got to be careful if you're stuck in that same pond. Market yourself, do that. Don't get comfortable where you're like, I'm making enough. Go those bigger, they're going to give you more work. They're going to challenge you in new ways that you've never been challenged before, creating the type of content you never even thought. That is what has grown my content abilities, is the need from these bigger fish. They just need so much more, right? And that's what's incredible.
I think also what's super incredible about you, like the fact that you took that chance, and that's something a lot of people are scared to do, is take that opportunity. Like, hey, he can't escape me now. He's gonna hear me out, but I know he needs what I do. And because you took that chance, you guys got the relationship you have. Me and you have that relationship. There's other relationships that form because of that, and that's you putting yourself out there. That's the biggest thing in all of our industries, is if you don't put yourself out there, there is no reward. There's no reward without the risk. Like, we're saying, oh, he's going to embarrass me. He's going to tell me screw off or whatever. It's like, that's worth it, though. I shot my shot. And even if he told me that this one time, he'll still have that little bit of respect for me to come back that next time. Like, hey, I actually didn't have time to hear you out last time. Now I owe it to you. So, just taking those chances lead to stuff. But it helps everybody, including, like, just further down the line of us working together, like the things you did for the music awards with those clips. Like, if you're not available this year, I'm gonna have to hire for that position that I didn't even know was needed, and it was so essential and made our whole ceremony that we fully planned out for almost a year better for something we didn't even know we needed. And that's how essential you are and how creative you are. You created a position that we didn't even know we needed.
And that's what's awesome about social media, is in a lot of other industries, you really have to prove yourself. You have to be like, here's what you need. With social media, I'm already creating the content. It's right there for people to see. So I am very lucky where it's like, to bring up O's Grill again, right? A friend of his was like, your videos just out of the blue started popping up all over my page. I like how they're edited. I like how they feel. How are they? So that's why the referrals are so great, is you're already walking in the door and they know your work. You don't have to prove yourself as hard. Like you said,
warm lead.
Yes, it's a very warm lead. They know your
Finger
work
in the middle of the apple pie.
Exactly. So it's And that's the thing is being willing to say and meet people. And when I was going to meet Lucas, I was like, well, I don't even know what my sales pitch is yet. I've been doing this for a few weeks, but I can't remember what my grandpa used to say. He'd be like, 100 no's are painful, but a missed yes is devastating. It was something along those lines where it's
so true.
That's a clip.
Yeah,
That's good.
It's one of those things where it's those yeses are so important.
And what do they say? It takes 11 no's to get to that one yes.
Yeah.
And that's not 11 different people. That's that same person being able to get 11 no's before you get that one yes. And I'm a victim of that. I mean, I've been on the beneficial side of it where I've had to ask 11 times to get the yes. But I'm also a victim where I get annoyed the hell out of some of these people that keep blowing me up.
Yeah.
That eventually I just say yes, and I'm known as a softie because of it.
Yeah.
And but that also gets us into, that fine line we have to walk too, because especially we're always reestablishing our business.
Yep.
I mean, we're established, but we're always reestablishing.
Yeah.
If you're not always pivoting, you're failing. And where we have to walk that fine line is, and I know it was one of the first advice that I gave Jake, because Jake and I ride around in the truck, and he's always got questions about business and being business owners. And I said, you got to take on the clients that aren't going to jeopardize your customer service. So how do you take on all those referrals and being able to say no? Or how do you take yourself where you're not stretching yourself too thin? I know that's a challenge we all get into. And I know it rolls over to the real estate side where I have investors that'll go buy 10 properties and they can only work on 4. And now they got 6 sitting there because they've taken on too much. So, Jake, where do you think you walk that fine line of
too many clients?
Too many clients where you're jeopardizing your customer service? Because I'm going to tell you, it's jeopardizing my customer. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
We're good. We'll always be good.
Oh,
That's actually a really good question, because it was something I learned probably after my first year, which again, funny saying that I'm still I'm only 2.5 years in, but is 5 good paying, well respected, easy to deal with. They know what they want. What you're delivering is exactly what they're looking for. 5 of those big fish clients are way better than 10 of the little fish clients, which is that probably sounds a bit cruel to say, but it's something where starting out, you need those.
Oh yeah,
the small. But again,
That's how you get connected.
Yes,
Yep.
and there's still so many smaller clients that I still work with because I like them. But I learned very quickly, it's like, okay, I can't say yes to every single referral, because otherwise I'm going to end up with my lowest tier, 10 of my lowest tier clients, and I'll miss an opportunity of a bigger tier. And I know we had kind of touched on that earlier, but that's kind of like the biggest thing is you want to help every small business, and I want to help them in any way I can. I know I have the best prices and everything because I've done the price comparison, but I can't jeopardize the work I do, the time I have, by saying yes to everyone. You got to take that step back and be like, is this beneficial for me, but for them as well? Because if they're a lot of these mom and pop shops, they can only afford the lowest tier. But I need to make sure that they are getting that bang and buck for the work I'm giving them and for the amount they're paying. Because to them, that's a huge chunk of change. And I want to make sure they're getting that value, but also I'm getting the value for my work.
Yeah, and Tone, how do you go about that? Because I mean, you could be helping every guy out the street that wants to learn music,
I say yes to everybody.
I know. I pretty much do too.
The balance is bad. So I can say the bad about it. I am sacrificing time away from the kids. I am sacrificing time to focus on myself as an artist. But I'm just truly in this blessed position in life, and to not give my resources, I feel like it would be wrong. I feel like, I'm very anti-gatekeeping. Like, what I know, I want to be everybody's knowledge. And I don't feel like anybody is like a threat if I give them my exact same resources. Like, what you do with that person may either inspire me or may teach me something, or sure, you may get ahead of me, but hey, I gave you a favor, maybe you'll help me out, right. and it's not always to get something in return either. It's just, I feel like like I said, I'm just in a blessed position. So I want to help as many people as I can on this journey. We are doing things to cement our legacy here. And, I want my legacy to be, I helped as many artists out of Iowa as possible. I've done so much for free, and then even the stuff that costs is like we're really all just throwing in one big pot. You know, I
Right.
can't afford the DoubleTree by myself, but if all the artists commit to this amount of tickets, we're all putting in together. You know, for a
Right.
summer jam, that's our show. All of us put it together, and I think that makes it more important to the people that I work with, and also it makes a bigger impact. It makes you feel like, you know, you can do more than what you've already done. Or, you know, a lot of people I've talked to lately, like, it's their dream to be on a billboard. Well, I did that. It's their dream to perform at the biggest convention center in their hometown. We're doing that now. And then we're getting these companies involved that don't necessarily market to our industry, and our industry is the people that need these same resources. You know, we talked about Wix earlier. A lot of these artists need websites. You know, AMMT is going to be in the building. Everybody needs a home.
Yeah, and that's where speaking of like building your legacy and everything, I think that's where Lucas, not to blow too much smoke for him, but a lot of this things you sponsor, whether it's what Tone's putting on or what some other local event. I mean, not only events that you sponsor, but also like with the diplomats, the money and time you've put into an organization that is helping these young kids have an opportunity in club basketball that other clubs don't offer. Right?
Yep.
There's you guys, there's certain clubs out there that will be like, oh, sorry, you yelled at a coach once, you're never in this. Here, you guys work with kids who have the talent, who have the want to do it, but might need just a little bit of extra help, and that is building a legacy where it's you're willing to work with, whether it's sponsoring, whether it's helping kids, work with anybody and everybody, which is
and
huge.
to piggyback off of that, like a lot of times we think of what we're doing for the kids, we forget that we're doing a lot for adults too.
Huge amount.
Bringing adults on as coaches gives them time, gives them a sense of purpose, and also puts them in a position, it forces them into leadership. So they start thinking about their everyday life as something different. Me empowering adult artists, you know, it makes them come home with a smile. It makes them confident to tell their kids, do what you want to do. You know, you can, you know, accomplish your dreams even at whatever age they're at. So, you know, we're helping kids, we're helping adults, but all together we're helping the community in everything that we do.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, and that's the reason we do it. I mean, they're in being a sponsor. I mean, there's no money to be made on an AAU team. I mean, there isn't. I mean, where the money's at is on the receiving end of it. How many tournaments do you get to play? Blah blah blah. The kids are getting, they're receiving the benefit of it. Is and you're right. We're doing a hell of a lot of coaching with parents of just, you know, hey, this is what we're seeing. This is how you fix it. This is why this kid has this behavior issue going on right now. What's going on at home? You know, so we have a lot of that stuff going on with the diplomats where we're coaching and training. And I mean, it's just it's a family affair. I mean, you're not going to get that at the other organizations.
Just say other organizations.
Not shooting any
double
darts.
banging already.
My sister grew up in those organizations. I know which ones you're talking. You know, I'll take it to I'm going to take a complete left turn here. Something I want to give Lucas a hard time about. So I film all of Lucas's videos when we tour property and everything. He's a jittery guy. He's got so much on his mind. He's shaking his legs right now. So I'll give him the hardest time ever in videos. You've kind of broken the habit now. He used to kick before every video. If you go back and watch videos from like a year and a half ago, every video is him going, "Hey, AMMT family, kick." And then he's just like, he's got you could tell someone's busy and has a lot on their mind because we've been sitting here first 30 minutes. Lucas was chill, but now that we're at like a little over 30, he's like, okay, we got money to make, people to see. Let's go.
This is my getaway. I enjoyed this time.
I've never noticed him being nervous, and I think that's why it's whiskey in real estate. So cheers.
Well, and I do have if you ever watch Seinfeld, the Elaine kick. When she's trying to dance. Yeah, I got that kick. Yeah, I do got the Elaine kick.
Because I was gonna say it's if you go back and watch some of those videos, they'll either be it's either the kick is my favorite, but then there'll be some other just like hand movements he makes, and it's because something I struggle with. I don't mean to, but you might also. It's sometimes hard to be in that moment when you have so much to do that day, right? We're filming at 2 p.m. For most people, that's like the tail end of their day. They got 3 more hours and they're done. For people like us who are always working, it's like, 2 p.m. I still got stuff all the way till midnight. So the reason you're jittery.
Yeah.
The reason you're moving,
Yep,
you're like,
yep.
all right, let's get this 60-second video done because I got to go
Yep.
do a million more things. My phone is, I probably have 9 texts because my phones are silent,
Yep.
but I probably have 9 texts I'm thinking about. I'm like itching to be like, all right, who's
Yes.
texting me? Who needs to get a hold of me? Because there's always something.
And I think that's the beauty about these podcasts and what we do. It is that one time that we allow for ourselves to not be distracted by work, or even not distracted, but we got to take this moment away from family, which I want to say is sometimes healthy. So
Oh, yeah.
like, you
You
get
ain't lying.
consumed with being a father, being a husband, being a boyfriend.
Woof.
You get consumed with it to the point that you don't take time for yourself to not only reflect, to vent. But I feel like a lot of times these podcasts, we're reconfirming that our goals for what we're doing, why we're doing it, and it gives us that not only self-worth, but it's a wind down. I think that's where the whiskey comes in. It's a little bit of the, I deserve this goddamn whiskey right now.
Well, yeah, and it is. There is not an episode that I didn't have where I was not motivated to go back to work afterwards.
Yep.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
like, oh wow,
This is only a pause button. This ain't the end of.
Yeah, we really have accomplished something. We really, god dang it, hearing it from someone else, you're like, all right, so. Yeah, it is very reassuring. I
Yes.
think that's what it is. The reassurance of we're doing the right things is because, I mean, in our business, especially as business owners, we get beat down.
Man, I've seen the reviews.
Yeah, we get beat down. And it's like one of those things, am I really doing the right thing out here?
Yeah.
Did I really make that right decision? And when we all get together, and I mean, God, the next couple episodes, we'll have more guests coming in, and it'll be completely different on some of the tones that they have into real estate. But yeah, I mean, it makes us feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, I just realized I didn't do any real estate marketing stuff. So I was gonna say, if there's one thing advice I had, if you're gonna get into it, do the beautiful stuff, but do something unique. Work with someone like Lucas. And again, I work with some clients who are less open-minded than Lucas. You got to do that push, because if they're like, I want to do the generic thing that everyone else is doing. How many agents did you say there are in
There's
Cedar
like
Rapids, Lucas?
460. Yeah.
Cool. So if you're doing the same thing 450 of them are doing, and there's only 10 people doing something else, congrats, you're in the pack. You're going to get your friends and family who buy houses from you, but you're not going to reach that new audience because the algorithm's not pushing you, because the algorithm's like, cool, you're doing what everyone else is doing. You're going to pay me to promote it or what? So you got to do something different, do something new, find your niche. Again, Lucas's niche is going to be vastly different than I work with a real estate agent named Jerry Doyle in Davenport. She's a woman in her 40s. That's way different than what Lucas is going to be promoting. So figure out what your niche is. Everyone's got a niche. Lucas is a jovial guy who loves to laugh, loves to goof around. So just letting him go off riff. We don't have any preset script or anything. It's like, just walk through the house. Just
It's
say
so
what you're going
true.
to say. And then he's like, and then like sometimes his mind, he'll just be like, we need to fix that. And it's funny. And we keep it in there because it's honest. It's funny.
Yeah,
it's jovial.
it
It's
really
real.
is. Yeah.
And compared to others where it's like, we have a preset clip. We're going to we're going to do 12
out,
takes. We're going to pick the 11th take that they liked, but we're going to film a couple more times just because everyone's different. Figure out what your niche is, and it's really it will carry you. Because if you're just doing the cookie cutter, oh, hey, closed on another house, thumbs up, it's your picture that people have seen a million times with the picture of the house, it says close, has all that. That is perfect. You need to post that, but post something else with it. That's you got to do something different.
There's a guy on Facebook that's here locally in town, and I was listening to him, and he just switched to another real estate company, and he sat there and he gives his speech, and it is, it's red. He's monotone the way it is, and he's my age, probably a little younger than me, and it is, you can watch his eyes go across as he's reading this teleprompter or whatever, the cue card his daughter's holding or something, I don't know. And I'm like, man, you just need to loosen up. Like, I want to get in there and goose him. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Hey, you lighten up, man. I mean, we're about to go sell some $300,000 house or a $50,000 house.
Yep.
And we play in the mud. Let's be real. Those $50,000 houses, you might be walking through dirt turds when you're first walking through it. I mean, it ain't this serious right now. So let's make it. Let's ease the move.
Yes, there's something with real estate that I've noticed. The longer I'm in it and working, there's definitely a group that's just like, nose in the air. It's like, I'm a real estate agent. It's like, all right,
Yep.
that's awesome, man. That's really good. But also maybe have a little bit of fun. Show your give your side. Be more real with it. That's at least that's what the algorithm wants for you. If there's a reason your videos don't even get a like or anything and it's getting 13 views, switch it up. Do something different. Another client of mine, they're not as funny or jokey, but they're really knowledgeable. So we just do tips and tricks in Bettendorf, Iowa, where she just gives some tips and tricks. And you got to figure out what the niche is. If she told a joke and tried to do a joke like Lucas did, that would fall flat. That would be the most, it would not work. It just wouldn't work. So figuring out who your client is, or even if you're just an agent listening, figuring out what your niche is, filming your own stuff, doing that, it's key.
Man, there's a real estate agent that I'm in a deal with right now, and the guy is the guy that's in the mirror with his forming his biceps, and he's curling and kissing them as he goes in the mirror.
No.
And that's how he holds himself in real estate transactions, like he tries to bully his way through and whatnot. And I'm going back and forth with this guy, and I go, man. In that whole, I'm a realtor. He goes, man, I've been a realtor for this long. And I'm a real estate agent. And my response to him was, and I think it just stopped him in his tracks. I'm like, congratulations, you're out of all professions one of the 5 most untrusted people in the world.
Nice. Yeah.
Damn.
But it's true. You know, we're right next to cops and
used car salesmen. Yeah.
You know, I'm like, come on, let's not prompt this that I'm a realtor. I'm like, congratulations, you're one of the 5 most untrusted people in the world.
Yeah.
So and he didn't know how to respond to that. But you know what? We kept the deal together and kept it moving.
Yeah.
And he shook my hand at closing, and he's like, "All right, I get it."
Nice.
And he's up, man.
Hey, sometimes you gotta humble people. In
We
all
are
our
who we are.
industries, yeah. But
You know?
at the same time, do what you do for the right reasons, not to be braggadocious, not to feel superior to another person. And even if it was the shadiest or top 5 of the shadiest industries, like be the exception, be the difference.
It's a fact.
Oh, Lucas's phone's ringing. We know he's always.
I had that on silent. I know I did it.
That's the phone thing there. That's how you know the episode's starting to come to an end. You're like, all right, the phone's.
Stop it.
No, well now
we're
I'm itching. I'm like, I gotta check my phone now that his is ringing.
Phones.
Yeah,
We're all sitting with 2-3 devices.
It's got me scratching.
We're in high demand. It feels kind of good, you know.
Well, and when we're filming, walking through a house, and that happens, and I always go, and I think we've already been there when it happened too. I'm like, well, there's money, right there.
He always
Sound of
goes.
money.
He goes, sorry, that was money on the line, and he turns off his phone real quick.
Yeah,
So.
well, and one of my best friends, he spreads manure through like 60% of the Midwest.
Wow.
And so every time we go on a fishing trip or anything, and you smell, and it's just like, God, yeah, that stinks. I mean, what is that? And because you're in Iowa, so you go.
Yeah.
through
Oh,
these
you're
fields.
smelling it. You're smelling it.
You're smelling the manure that's getting spread across these fields, and he's just over there soaking it in. He's like, that's the smell of money. And I'm just like, man, you nasty mother.
Smells different to everybody. I tell you that.
Yeah, but he's also one of my best investors too. So I mean, it's our real estate, every form, fashion, doesn't matter if you're coming in looking like you haven't slept for 4 days or you're out spreading manure. I mean, everyone's a buyer, at one time, and a seller. So
Yep.
Oh yeah. Well, man, it sounds like Jake has somewhere to be.
I guess I don't know, dude. The
Tell
phone
us, Jake.
it starts making me like itch. I'm like checking my phone. I'm like, oh, 3:06. Okay, good to know. Yeah.
We're wrapping up, right?
Yeah.
Right? We're
It's
wrapping up,
actually
right?
time to go. I got a prior engagement to go to.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I made Jake rearrange his schedule because he's got this other client that he goes to usually before me, and he always gets onions there, and so and shout out to O's Grill, one of the best.
Best Mediterranean food ever. But I'd be back in the kitchen with him. And then he'd give me some of it afterwards, so I would just smell like onions. And then I'd ride in Lucas's
Jake
truck.
got fired.
Yeah. I would ride in his truck smelling like onions, and he's like, "You got to switch your clients." So now I got a new.
Put me in a different slot.
Now I wrap. Now it goes different client, then Lucas, then I wrap up with
That
O's
is
Grill.
great.
So
That
funny
is
enough, that's
great.
actually where I'm going next to get myself a euro
You
as well.
shouted him out quite a few times. I
did.
think we
That's-
need a sponsored episode
Yeah,
at this point.
So Tone, we got summer jams this weekend.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So this is what, 5th year?
Seventh
Seventh year. Summer Jam.
year. Me and Chuck started it actually in 2011. I brought it back in 2018, and then we took a year off for COVID, pandemic stuff. So yeah, this is Iowa Summer Jam 7. Me and Chuck were just on the radio with Doug Wagner talking about it. It was really cool to have that full circle moment of where I'm not crying. There's something in my eye.
You're bringing tears. 7 years.
I'm telling a story.
Oh, Summer Jam.
Well, last year the gnat flew in my nose, or last episode,
It
so
did.
now it flew in the eye. Anyway, but to have it all come back full circle, get to share that moment with my best friend is something that we built together, and seeing where it comes. It's super special. Like I said, this isn't just for me or my people. This is for everybody in all of Iowa. And it's really special.
So for someone like me that's going to have a booth there, am I taking the approach of just shaking a hand? Am I handing out a koozie? Am I handing out a card? What should be my goal as a business owner coming into the Summer Jam?
Really, I feel like a lot of these people are entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Everybody in there is somebody you should have a conversation with. Again, everybody needs a home. But not only that, I would have never thought someone like me and from where I come from and what I'm used to doing would ever take real estate classes and take the steps to becoming a realtor and, getting in the world of selling and buying. So it's kind of introducing you as yourself, who you are, what you do. And there's a way, there's an opportunity to work with everybody.
Word. Got it.
Especially with what you do.
Yeah, because I know we were sitting thinking, what's this booth going to look like? Am I just going to have my business cards there? Am I going to put up a banner? What am I going to do? All honesty, I'm going to sit there with a drink and I'm going to promote whiskey and real estate and I'm going to promote our podcast and I'm going to promote what we do, how we can help you find houses and how if you want to become an agent, how to get there. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of things that that's been flying through my head, and I'm just like, man, I don't even know where to start on this because this is my first year going to be there. Yeah. We always sponsor the events that you have, and I'm thankful we get the opportunity, and now we get the opportunity to actually attend.
Yeah, you didn't see at the Iowa Music Awards last year. Saw your table, didn't see Lucas.
I had a table and a room.
Yeah, you had a room too. Dude,
enjoy any
your table was there was 3 people sitting there, and then I was like, I guess I'll also just take a seat here for a breather for a second. I like giving him a hard time about that. When I was like, you did all the sponsorship, you did all this stuff, and then he was like, crud, can't make it.
Yeah, but you
missed the fun part.
I know, trust me, I get it. I mean, we won the championship at least in our basketball
it was worth it.
It was completely worth it. But I would have loved to be there. That's for sure.
Yeah, the anniversary party we just had in March. You had a table full of beautiful women, and I was like, "Oh man, Lucas is really doing it." Come to find out, you weren't there. I was like, "No,
hey,
you missed out." I got to enjoy it.
But once again, we're supporting our local guys. If I can't be there, someone enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The name was out, so
100%.
That ain't happening anymore.
He's there. He's enjoying living.
I don't think I have a choice anymore either. I've got influences pushing me there.
Yes. Well, let's get Jake up out of here. Jake, how can they find you? How can they get involved with what you do and get you hired?
That's a good. So the business is called JT SEO. You can honestly just give me a call at 319-777-1936. Give me a call. Let me know what you're looking for. Again, my main goal is just wrapping around exactly what your business is looking for. It's search engine optimization to any extent they can imagine, from Google My Business website to social media. So just JT SEO, or give me a call.
His name's Jake Truemper, by the way. We never did the full introduction. Jake Truemper is his last name. Is Truemper, and it has nothing to do with what's going on in today.
I figued we don't say that name.
I didn't pick my last name. It just so happens.
But I mean, they symbolize it. I mean, he goes nerd zone for both of you guys to understand, but he just blows shit up. I mean, that's what he does.
That's what he does.
He takes stuff. He's a promoter. He does it well. I mean, there's only one other guy that I know in this industry that can probably match you on blowing stuff up, and that's my partner in crime and Tone's partner in crime, and that's Chuck.
Oh yeah, dude, Chuck
is the king of promo.
Whenever he's there,
he's the hype guy. So.
He's a good guy to brainstorm with. He's perfect to brainstorm with. He's, especially with all of his experience with GoDaddy and stuff. Dude's a wizard.
Yeah. We got to get him on here. Chuck is his goals.
So well, thanks for joining us today, my man. And once again, this is Burrington Real Estate and Whiskey and Real Estate podcast. Tone, thanks, man. I appreciate you hosting always. This is always a blast.
Yep, cheers. He's already out.
I'm out, man.
Oh, man, I didn't even drinking. I was like, I gotta go do more business.
Hey, it might put some hair on your chest. You need some of that right there. You just got married.
Whiskey and Real Estate, guys. Peace.